Hi, today we're going to look at multiplying and dividing rational functions. So on the left is a rational function, and later on we might have one of these and we might be dividing another rational function by it. This is fairly sort of pure mathematics, I guess, because we just need to have a good understanding of algebra and also a good understanding of dividing and multiplying fractions. It's really important to have these skills because um, you know, algebra will crop up in lots of different situations, and you just need to be able to quickly manipulate it and simplify, go in the shortest sort of route possible, really. Okay, let's start off. So what I'd like you to do, ideally, is take each of these questions, pause the video, have a go at it, try and simplify it, and see if you get the same answer. I normally do this as a whiteboard activity, um, but I can't in this situation. So please have a go. Okay, the first one. Right, we want to simplify this, so that means we're looking for common factors. So a good idea is to factorize the top and the bottom. And if you factorize the bottom, you see actually that there's an x. I can take out a 2, and that leaves me with x minus 2, x minus 2. These are going to cancel, and that just leaves me with 1, so the answer is a half. Um, yeah, I think that's the best way to do that one. Okay, let's look at this one. Now we've got a linear expression on top and a quadratic on the bottom. So what we're going to need to do is we've got the top one is going to stay as it is, and we're going to need to factorize the quadratic. There are two common ways of factorizing quadratics. One is to sort of guess what the coefficients are and just sort of do kind of like a trial and error method. In this case, if this is going to factorize, it must be, like if it's going to simplify rather, it must be that there's a 2x minus 3 in here. So I'm going to go with this method of sort of trying some values out. And then for it to work, I would have to have a 3x here, and to get my minus 12, I'd have to have a plus 4. Now I can just check and see, right, I'm going to get 8x by multiplying 2x by 4, and I'm going to get minus 9x by doing minus 3 times 3x, and that will give me minus x, so I know it does work. So actually this is a really good method for this situation. And then I see again, these are going to cancel, this leaves me 1 at the top, and I'm going to get 1 over 3x plus 4. Okay, let's keep stepping it up. Next one. Have a go at this one. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the top one, factorize the top one using the factorization method I just gave. And that's because it's relatively simple. If this is going to factorize, I'm going to have the 3x up here and an x up here. There can't be any possibilities. Now, if this is going to work right, I've got a positive 4, but I've got a minus 8x. So both of these will have to be negative. And I'm either going to have minus 1 and minus 4, or minus 2 and minus 2. Let's just try out minus 2 and minus 2. Then I'd get minus 6x, I'd get minus 2x. I can see that this will work, so I don't have to do any more. Okay, I'll cross that out, and I've done it. Okay, the bottom one, now this is a little bit trickier because I've got multiple possibilities for the 6x squared. There's only one possibility for the 2. I'm going to do this using the second method we've learnt for factorization. Just to remind you about it, you may be using it already. Okay, so when we do this method of factorization, what we do is we multiply the coefficient in front of x squared and the number by itself, and that gives us 12. And then we try and find two numbers that multiply to give me 12 and add to give me the minus 7. I can see in this case it's going to be minus 3 and minus 4. So what I then do is I rewrite my 6x squared expression as 6x squared minus 3x minus 4x plus 2. And then I factorize out the first expression. There's a common factor of 3x, so it's going to be 3x and then 2x minus 1. And on this one, I'm going to keep the minus, and then I'm going to take a 2 out, and that's also going to give me 2x minus 1. because I'm going to get my minus 4x and I'm going to get my plus 2 back. I can now factorize out the 2x minus 1 essentially. So I can write 2x minus 1 and then 3x minus 2. And I've factorized it using this different method. This can be advantageous in certain situations, especially when the number here gets large and this number is large as well. Okay, if you manage to get there by sort of trial and error, then that's fine as well. Okay, so let's keep going. Then I'll put that in. I'll get 2x minus 1 and 3x minus 2. These two cancel, and I'm left with x minus 2, 2x minus 1. And I can't simplify that anymore, so that's my answer. Brilliant. So, if you can do that, if you're confident at factorizing two quadratics and simplifying, you're in a good place. Note, we could chuck a cubic in here. And you could potentially be expected to factorize the cubic. I'm not going to go through an example on that here, but that would be sort of a challenge question that I'll set later on. It works in the same kind of way. You'll have to use the factor theorem to be able to factorize it. You can actually use your calculator, but I would like you to practice these without a calculator. Okay, let's keep going. Now we are definitely in the realms of multiplying two rational functions. I'm taking it back a bit. These are relatively simple compared to the ones we've dealt with, but I'm doing this multiplication. When we multiply, we can multiply the tops and we can multiply the bottoms, and then we can simplify it. But what you definitely don't want to do is like multiply it all out to get the top and the bottom, and then like start simplifying. Actually, a much better thing is to simplify as we go along. So I can write this as 2 over x times, and now I'm going to start factorizing straight away. This is going to be x minus 2 on the top, and then x minus 2 on the bottom. I see straight away, actually, these cancel. And then because I've got an x up here and an x over here, I can cancel these, and I'm going to be left with 2. Much quicker way than like multiplying these out to start with. Okay, next one. Have a go at it. This does not look nice, does it? Okay, let's have a go. The first expression looks all right, so this is going to be a relatively simple factorization. We're going to have an x, we're going to have an x. I've got a plus 3 but a minus 4, so they'll both be negative. The only thing that can work is a minus 1 and a minus 3. That does indeed work. Okay, this one here, I'm going to factorize by just trying numbers out because it's a 3x. I know that I've got a 3x here and an x here. So now I just have to try some things. Okay, I've got minus 13, so they're both going to have to be negative. I'm going to need to, okay, let's try minus 4 here and minus 3 here. Then I'd get minus 12 and minus 3. That's not going to work, so let's cross that one out. Okay, let's try it the other way around. Minus 3 here and minus 4 here. That's going to give me minus 9x. And I get a minus 4x. That will give me minus 13x. This works. Okay, and actually I immediately see that these two cancel. I don't need to do the I've not even started doing the multiplication, but I'm managing to cancel this down. Okay, next one. Let's actually do this one down here because it's the easiest one to deal with. X minus 1. Okay, now I'm going to need to factorize 6x squared minus 23x plus 20. Okay, I'm going to do that down here, and I'm going to use, now we've got quite a large coefficient, and we've got a large one here, so I'm going to use the second method I spoke about to do this. Okay, so multiply these two to give me 120. Now we need two numbers that multiply to give 120 and add to give minus 23. They're going to have to both be negative for this to work. So let's write down our factors of 120. We've got 6 and 20. That's not going to work. We've got 3 and 14. Now I'm going to need to get a bit closer to 6 and 20. 5 goes into it. How many times does 5 go into it? It's going to be 24. That doesn't work either. What else is there? we need one of the factors to be an odd number. Okay, let's keep going. So what else is there? Does 8 go into it? I think 8 goes into it, but that's going to give me another positive. 8 goes into 120. How many times? Oof. Okay, I'm doing this without a calculator, so bear with me. 8's into 12 go once. I mean, okay, 15. Okay. Why did I think that was going to be an even number? I found it. We've got 8 and 15, but it's going to be minus 8 and minus 15 to add to give minus 23x. So now I can write my expression as 6x squared minus 8x minus 15x plus 20. If you want to, ask me how this method works, or investigate it yourself, because it is guaranteed to work, and it's a really clever bit of clever method. Okay, anyway, I'm going to keep going. So now I'm going to factorize this. What goes into both? The highest common factor, I think it's 2x. So that's going to give me 3x minus 4 here, and then over here I'm going to take out a factor of 5, and that's also going to give me 3x minus 4. I can then finally factorize out the 3x minus 4, and I'm going to have 2x plus 5. So finally I can write that in up here. 3x minus 4 and 2x plus 5. Well done if you got there. Maybe you did trial and error, that sort of method. Maybe you did it this way. Okay, let's just look at it. Actually, these two now cancel. We've got another pair that cancel, and these two cancel. So we've got all these different pairs that cancel, some of them over here, some of them over here. It's absolutely fine to cancel this one with over here. You could join it together. Like if you wanted to get rid of that multiplication sign, you could put it all over like that, but we don't actually need to. And with there, the answer is going to be 2x plus 5 divided by x, and that's as simplified as it gets. Okay, last one, a division. Let me just delete this. Okay, now we've got x, y's, and p's. All right, brilliant. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it, but I'm going to rewrite it as a multiplication. So I can, keep, switch, flip. That's one thing we're taught. So we can change it to this. Okay, and now I'm going to do exactly what I did before. I'm going to factorize out as much as possible and then try and cancel. So this top one is a difference of two squares. We've got x plus y, x minus y, divided by 16p squared, times 2p. That doesn't simplify, but I can factorize out the 3 to give me, whoops, not 3. I'm just going to cross it out, x plus y. All right, we're in a good place now. So this x plus y will cancel with this x plus y. This p squared will partially cancel with this p, so I can just cross out the p and I can cross out the 2. This 16 and 2, I can cross that 2 out and change this to an 8. This is absolutely fine to do like this, and I would advise it as long as you've got the understanding behind it. And that's going to leave me x minus y divided by 24p, and that is our final answer. Okay, so this was a bit of practice of multiplying and dividing and simplifying rational functions. It's all the stuff, we're just using our knowledge of multiplying or dividing fractions and simplifying or factorizing linear expressions and factorizing quadratics. I hope you're happy with that. Do some more practice and make sure you're up to speed with this.